Colombian football Launder its past. Team victory, October the 1st, 2012. Last week, Felipe Gaitán, Millonarios Football Club's new president, floated the idea of giving up the league titles won by Millonarios in 1987 and 88. At the time, the chief shareholder of Millonarios was Gonzalo Rodríguez Gacha, known as El Mexicano, one of the leading figures in the drug trade that was so ostentatiously powerful in Colombia at the time. With a new shareholder structure and under fresh administration, it is admirable that Millonarios are keen to dissociate themselves from such a turbulent time in their country's history. The problem is, though, that the involvement of the major drug cartels was so widespread that the damage cannot be limited to one club. Football had a huge appeal for the drug trade, for a number of reasons. Investing in clubs was good public relations, and also a big ego boost for the bosses. It also provided plenty of opportunities for laundering money, and for making some in betting scams. And some of the bosses were fans of the game, living out a fantasy. America of Cali became so rich, a kind of South American Real Madrid, signing big-name players from all over the continent. America were placed on the Clinton list. This has been a factor in the club's slide into the second division. The title that eluded America was the Copa Libertadores, South America's Champions League. They were beaten finalists 3 years in a row between 1985 and 87, and had to watch 2 years later how Atlético Nacional of Medellín, with links to their local drug cartel, became the first Colombian club to win the trophy. So much cash was sloshing around, and so many quality foreigners were being brought in that for a while the Colombian league may have been as strong as any in Europe. The Millonarios players of 87 and 88 are well aware that, however the whole thing was financed, they had to overcome some good opponents in order to win those league titles. Under coach Francisco Maturana, they forged something new, a mix of the short-passing Argentine style and a touch of Brazilian flair that had always been part of the Colombian game, along with a high defensive line and a sweeper keeper borrowed from the Holland side of the 1970s. When Maturana took charge of the national team, he was able to add Carlos Valderrama to the mix, and the frizzy-haired playmaker became the fulcrum of the team, dictating a hypnotic, salsa-inspired rhythm from center field. The team is mainly remembered for its failure in the 1994 World Cup, and the tragic assassination soon afterwards of defender Andrés Escobar, who had scored an own goal in the tournament, an incident which brought to global attention the cartel-inspired chaos that Colombia was living at the time. That Colombian side was a wonderful unit, capable of beating anyone. In 1993, they inflicted Argentina's first ever home defeat in World Cup qualification with an extraordinary nail-to-5 win, and they went to the United States having suffered just one defeat in their previous 34 matches. It is entirely laudable that some in Colombian football seek to distance their clubs from the dark rule of the drug lords. But if all titles are relinquished, it is almost as if the Colombian game did not exist at this time, which is unfair on those who played it so well that they still stand as a reference for subsequent generations. One of them is Andrés Escobar. Removing from the history books the titles he won with Atlético Nacional would not seem to be an adequate memorial for someone who deserves to be remembered.